Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I saw something in a Facebook group earlier today, and I thought that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to share with you all today. So, it's about being able to invest in your business with a lot of confidence. This person was saying that they really wanted a business coach and they wanted to hire someone, but they had invested a really significant amount of money and a coach who had a really big online presence, and they had a lot of testimonials, and they seemed to be, I guess, always like a big deal. And so they felt pretty confident about the result and the experience that they were going to have. They even said that they had a lengthy 1 hour conversation with this person. They thought that they knew who this person was. And then that's not the kind of treatment that they got. They were late for calls. They weren't, getting the results and help and things that they thought that they were going to get. And I hated to hear that. But also, I can tell you that any business that I've had, so I've had 3 online businesses, I've heard similar things. So it's not something that is specific to coaches or specific to one industry or the other. I can't tell you how many times when I had my design business that I would have people who were downright terrified to hire someone to create a website for them because they had invested in a web designer before and had a really terrible experience. So I think that no matter what it is, we've all bought something and felt like we didn't get the results that we really wanted. But I think that there are 2 things that we can learn from this. One, you can really take that experience and make sure that when you are working with people that you're very upfront. So part of that is making sure that you're attracting the people that are perfect clients for you, that you're actually saying yes to people you should say yes to and saying no to people that you should say no to, because the worst thing is for someone to have a bad experience. We don't want that. We want to get people results, whatever that might be, whether it's you have really great skin products or, maybe you're a coach like me, or it doesn't really matter. We want to get people results. We want to make sure that we're showing up and we're committed and we're treating people the way that we want to be treated. But you also want to consider these things that are blocking people from wanting to work with you. Maybe they have spent $300 on the La Mer and they didn't see less wrinkles, and so now they're really afraid to buy your product. Or maybe they think that organic skin products are not going to work, or maybe they've hired that coach or that photographer or whatever it is, and they're nervous that they're not going to get the results that they paid for because maybe they've been burned before. Whether they have or haven't, we all have these barriers that come in place and keep us from solving the problem we want to have. It's one of my favorite things to talk about is pain points, but not just about the problem that you solve, but about what's keeping someone from getting that result. Like, we all know what we have to do to lose weight, but do we continue to look for a result and look for the thing, the diet plan, the shake mix, or whatever it is that we want to invest in? Like, what is keeping us from pulling the trigger and just solving that problem? So those are the kind of pain points that we really want to consider when we are also on the other end of that, we're trying to sell. So for those of you that have been burned somewhere along the way, I would hate for that to hold you back. And coaching and branding and web design, I've always worked with people who have had that experience. So if you feel that way and it is keeping you from making a choice, from investing in your business, I just wanted to share a few things with you. This is kind of how I walk clients through this similar objection. So the first thing is that to really think about where you were when you made that investment. Were you in a place where you really thought, did you really think that this was going to get you the result you wanted? Really think about why it didn't. Did you show up and do your part? Was it just not the right person for you? Or maybe it had something with timing. Maybe they overpromised, because really, we can only promise somebody potential. We can't do it for them. And a lot of people get into that, especially I see it with coaches and clients that are coaches, where you feel like you have to put that client on your back and you're going to truck them across the finish line, and it's all on you and it's your responsibility, and you're not going to stop until you make them make money, or you make them whatever it is that they want. That's not really our job. Our job is to create the potential. So if I bring this to the table and you do this, then this is what we're projecting your outcome to be. So it's always good when we are feeling like we can't trust our decision making skills to really go back and think about it. What were your expectations? Was the conversation between the two of you, were you not clear about what you wanted, and so they couldn't be really clear about what they were going to deliver? Um, how could you have done things differently, and what can you take from that experience and do differently now? So I've had people that I have hired who have not met my expectations. And, luckily it didn't cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, but I can see now better ways. One situation I'm thinking of that was kind of recent, I think that I wasn't as clear as I should have been about the exact thing that I wanted this person to do. And then when I saw that they weren't doing it, I wasn't assertive enough in saying, wait, stop. I mean, I thought I was, but I can look back and see, okay, maybe I could have communicated that differently. And I'll definitely do that in the future. So for me, in that particular experience, it was being really clear about expectations. And I've learned from that. So the next time I hire someone to do a similar job, it's going to look a little differently. But it is a bad way to feel when you think that you can't trust your decision-making skills. What I know to be true is that your investment in your business is always going to come back to you. So sometimes, even if the experience wasn't, what you thought it was going to be, maybe you needed a step in between to get to the thing that you needed to do, right? So sometimes we just need more time. We want a result, but maybe we're not ready for that result yet. Personally, could be energetically, maybe your business isn't ready for that right now. So you may think, I'll take myself as an example. If I hired someone to help me double my business right now, it's not that they couldn't do it or they couldn't tell me what to do, but I can tell you that I have no capacity for that whatsoever. Doubling my business would be scary. I couldn't handle that right now. So it's really important to go back and think about, why did I make that decision? How can I do things differently next time? And then really consider, what did you learn? Because you may have learned more and gotten more out of that experience than you thought. It could have been that middle step that you really needed to get in the place that you wanted. I'm also thinking about a friend who has worked with multiple coaches. And so she kind of has a favorite and a person that she's been working with long term, but each one of those coaches that she worked with really helped her with a specific thing. And it was in the thing that she needed to do. So she had one business and she worked with a couple of different coaches and then the things that she learned actually kind of propelled her into changing her business and doing something else. And then she hired a coach to help her take that business and really make it a success. So I think we have to really be clear about what we're expecting when we hire someone, and we can't let fear over the decisions that we've made in the past make us think that we're just not good at making decisions. And knowing that I would just say, especially when it comes to coaches, if you're in this group now, you get to see a lot of my free content. You know what my house looks like. You see my kids. This is what you get. So if you like what you see here, it's not going to be any different if we were to work one-on-one together. And you do want to make sure that you as a business owner are doing the same thing. So you don't want people to feel like you did a big bait and switch on them. So it's really a good learning experience and a good conversation to have around both sides of that coin. So one, if you're a business owner and you're really wanting to make people feel comfortable working with you, make sure that they see exactly what they're going to get. Follow that up by having a really good communication, making sure that you're turning down clients that aren't a good fit for you, and really attracting the clients that are a good fit. So working with someone who's not a good fit is just never going to turn out right. If you're a person who is wanting to invest in your business and you're not sure, and you're feeling bad about decisions or getting burned before, really examine where you were then, how you made your decision, what you've learned from that, and how you can take that into this next process. And just remember that there are so many different ways to work with someone. If you're interested, but you're not totally sure if you want to commit to that, then reach out to them, get on a phone call, look at their free content. You can ask them for references. Never be afraid of that, because if somebody wants to work with you, they're not gonna not give you that information. I've even had somebody ask me exactly how much money I make. It was really uncomfortable, but I told her because that's what she needed to know to feel secure about working together. And actually, she was someone who came to me and had felt like she didn't get what she wanted out of a program that she invested in, also from a big name person. And that's really a funny thing, too, because I know that I have cleaned up a lot of websites from people who have been stranded, like had their money taken and stranded by people who are pretty big, significant names. So if you have not gotten what you paid for before, don't feel bad like there's something wrong with you. I mean, sometimes that happens. Like maybe there's something going on with that person personally, like who really knows, right? But there's a reason why it happened, and we can take that into the future to make sure that we're investing because we're business owners. And part of having a successful business is making those investments that are going to help you get where you want to go, but so much faster because none of us want to wait. I don't know. I'm not a very patient person. I'm guessing you probably aren't either. But if you have any questions, if you have anything to add to this conversation, I think a lot of people who have maybe felt burned in the past would appreciate knowing that they're not the only one. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.